This week was a tough week. Sunday started with a boy died in the mikveh. Monday, we had a situation with over 1,000 boys with riot police. Tuesday, we had hundreds of kids demonstrating against one of their own, and the same thing happened in Monday. It was next to Menashe Miller's house. And they were demonstrating, throwing eggs, lighting things on fire. And the question comes to everybody's mind, in a town like this, that we have so much boys sitting in yeshivas and doing the Talmudic studies, and having these good teachers that should put in all their the good deeds that they're supposed to do in them. How is it possible that such a thing should happen in this town? And I have a point of view that it might have to do with this. A few weeks ago, some of the leaders of this town decided that they're going to discredit some activists that stand up and come and speak to the public and record publics and speak about public affairs, and especially when it comes to building and traffic. And they decided to discredit them with making all kinds of allegations against them. Including one of them is that these guys are snitches, Muslim. I think that is totally not true. But that they started preaching this to the boys, and that created a hatred from the boys towards those individuals. That was preached in the schools. How do I know? Because me, myself, I was sitting in a restaurant, 12:30 at night, with somebody, and some boy started screaming at me. Even yesterday, I had the boy throwing eggs at my house. Now, my understanding in this, these community leaders, or the rabbis, or the Rosh Yeshivas, should not be teaching hate, and especially against another individual of their own community, and even somebody that is not in their community. They should teach people to love each other, to help out each other. If it's Gentiles or Jewish, that's what they should be teaching about. And the fact that they told people about hate, look what happened. They turned on their own community leaders. If you put in hate in young boys, they don't know how to eat it. You can't tell them only hate this person, not that. Once you drive them to hate, they will explode. I only got some eggs, but other people got more eggs with more people standing in front of their homes, and they had riot police in front of their homes. So I got away cheap this time. But you should know in New Square, when you started this hate against somebody that tried to get him out of the community, they, by the end of the game, is burnt them alive so things could escalate. So all I'm trying to say is, if you teach hate to kids, what will happen is not only they will hate your own people, your own community leaders. Look what happened this week is they hate themselves, and look what the individual did to himself. Everything arises of hate. If you would have taught the kids to love other people and to love themselves, I don't think this would have happened. Do you have any comment on this?
Thank you. Yes, I do. And I don't believe that any community leaders in this town are teaching hate or trying to provoke hate. I think a lot of people in this town are upset with the discourse that we have in a lot of our public meetings. And a lot of people who will not serve on a public board for fear of what will be said and written about them on blogs and internet and whatnot. It's not what I was raised to believe. What happened with the boys, I heard it a little differently than you did. I heard that they were upset about a few people saying that they couldn't have a concert. If it was up to me, I much rather would have found out who the boys who were trying to organize the concert were and have them sit down with some of the people who were saying this is not a good idea and plead their point in a respectful manner to try and further an understanding between the two groups. And I think maybe it would have come to a little bit better conclusion. It bothered me to no end to see what happened out there. Again, you and I disagree on probably 99% of the things, but we have a respectful relationship, we can talk to each other, and there's no reason why that can't be expounded to all the other people in town. These children need to know that they can speak to their elders and that they have a point of view. And again, I have heard nothing about people being told to hate. That goes against everything that I know about anybody in this town that I've had any dealings with. You know, again, I'll go back to yourself. I know that a lot of the things you say are not appreciated by those, but I don't think that you hate anybody deep down. I think you're trying to make a point. I disagree with the way you make that point, and I wish we could have had a more positive approach and a collaborative approach rather than always a confrontation. It bothers me that we can't. And it bothers me that anybody in this town would think that that's the only way that they can get something done, is to confront people in a nasty or negative way. I dislike the fact that those kids were out there causing trouble. I'm not happy about some of the situations they had out there. The second night, I think it was more under control, and then they had their concert last night, and I didn't hear anything bad happen about it. I'm hoping we can use this as a teaching moment, not for myself, I'm not a part of the community, but anything that I can do to further an understanding between people who don't know each other well enough to understand and agree with each other and respect and eventually love each other is something that I'm willing to work towards. So that's my comment. Anybody else like to be heard?